life went sideways, a little chaotic, if
Yes.
you will. So how can we calm the chaos today?
So, so what I thought to talk about is kind of companies trashing other products in a very, I don't know,
Impolite?
impolite way. Yeah, it's so hard not to express it without swearing. Yes, in a very impolite way. That's a nice way to say it. Kind of long time ago. I mean, and still, you search for something like I don't know, like this versus that and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and then you go to a page of a vendor that says, okay, so that is horrible. This is better because it's mine, and that's been happening for a long period of time. And I never understood people who actually use that sort of information to compare things. Kind of a vendor of one product will compare that product with some other product. That's just silly. That would be like asking, I don't know, Mercedes why Toyota is whether Toyota is better or worse. Yeah,
Well,
you know the answer.
well, even some automotive manufacturers do that in the U.S. Chevy, I think it's Chevrolet has some commercials to where it's like, which one is this, that, and the other, and people name off the competitors, the Fords, the Toyotas, the Dodges, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, it's Chevrolet. I'm sure other people do it, but you don't see that type of comparison when you get to the higher levels, the Lexus, the Maserati, right? It just seems like it's the lower end entry level. And I don't mean anything by
Yeah,
the lower end. The built for the common man, if you will, versus the luxury brands.
I mean, to me, that's a sign of pettiness, let's say, kind of, and also a sign that you actually do think. So the reason why it's not why must nobody like Seat, which is
Mm-hmm.
car company that nobody knows but happens to be close to my house, will no, Mercedes will not do that comparison with Seat because Seat is below
Right.
Mercedes. Kind of like it would be silly. Seat might do that against Mercedes to show that we are better or whatever because they have nothing to lose. And to me, that's that type of attitude that. The reason why I'm starting with this is that I'm now seeing increased number of YouTube videos where somebody would, I don't know, show a product for 1 hour and say, look how frustrating it is to install it and to use it and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last 15 seconds, oh, with our product, it's so much easier and faster and better. It's and I mean, I'm probably exaggerating, but I get very annoyed with that because I work for a software vendor, you work for a software vendor, and we are doing our best to kind of compete in terms like I'm going to show you how this is great, and then, but like in the show that we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Last time, I think somebody asked, "Can you compare Jenkins X with I don't know what?" And my answer was, "No, I'm not going to compare it because that would be subjective, right?
Right.
I
Highly
don't want to trash
biased.
other. Yeah, because if I say that Jenkins X is better, I'm trashing other product, and I don't want to do that. And the other way around would be silly as well.
Yeah. Now, is it safe to say though that a a product may actually have different features? Is that okay?
Yeah, then that's okay. And then I don't literally mean, yeah, okay, so you have this Kubernetes
Yeah.
distribution, don't ever talk about any other Kubernetes distribution. It's just kind of it doesn't make much sense. And then it even makes less sense for people to listen or hear with that because
Right.
it's obviously silly. And you don't hear kind of like, I don't know, much Google saying, oh, GKE is great, AKS is trash. I mean, because it doesn't make much sense.
Right. Well, at that point, it's too granular. Now, and again, I don't know anybody at either of. Actually, I do know somebody on the Microsoft side, but you're not going to do that comparison of GKE versus AKS. You're going to do the comparison of GCP against Azure. And here's the extra features that we can do. But even then, at that level, you're not comparing, oh, we're better than GCP. If I was Microsoft.
Yeah, and even that, one thing is comparison. We have this authentication, you don't have that authentication. But the one I'm going to break my own rule, and I'm going to say which one is frustrating me this week the most. Is that's Harness, and Harness is a great product. Let me start with say that. And so they're competing product, and I do truly believe that they're a great product. I'm not going to enter into that is better or worse, but it's a great product. But still, kind of, I'm seeing a guy, and he's a really cool guy. He's getting frustrated for an hour or 2 hours with Tecton. He's really, really frustrated. And then kind of, yes, I work for Harness. Look at Harness. And then the same thing for Argo CD, for Jenkins X, and all the kind of, he's frustrated about absolutely everything that is not his own product.
Well, I mean, but usually in the role of if it's a solution architect, I don't know who you're talking about. That's their role. They're following a very simple formula: problem, agitate, and solve. So they're listing out all the problems. They're making it worse by agitating it, and it's like, oh, here's the solution. It makes all the magic, all the pain go away.
Yeah, I mean, I understand.
It's what it is.
It's kind of, you want to sell your product. I understand that. It's just probably I'm exaggerating, but I got so frustrated with those videos. Kind of. Actually, I like them because it uncovered. That's actually what frustrated me, is that they uncovered a lot of bad things about Tecton and a lot of negative things about Argo and negative things about Jenkins X. But then kind of like last 15 seconds, it's kind of like none of the problems exist in Harness. It's so beautiful and all those things.
Yeah. And again, I haven't played with Harness. I don't know the gentleman that did the videos. But realistically, there's something that isn't perfect in Harness.
Of course.
Right? So one of the things that sort of bugs me is when somebody takes me through that problem, agitate, solve. I did it backwards. Problem, agitate, solve. And then it's like, here's the magic. But it's almost a Superman. I'm wearing Spider-Man today, but almost a Superman reaction. It's like you won't need anything else. Your savior has arrived.
Yeah.
And
Saver, so kind of, and Saver already have everything set up before the video, while he was very frustrated with the setup of the other one during the video. So it's kind of, at least compare up, kind of show me how you set up Harness, kind of show me how you install it. At least, even though we know that you're going to fake it, but at least kind of compare apples and apples, not apples and oranges, kind of. So it's.
But again, if the gentleman is a solutions architect, it's his role to make it look simple and make everybody else's looks hard, or to look hard.
Yeah. Maybe it's me then, kind of. But I never went to a customer. I mean, I did go to a customer and say, X is better than Y, if you ask me. But kind of go into length. Wait. I'm going to install Bamboo for you right now, in front of your eyes. I'm going to set up your whole data center so that you see how horrible it is.
I was taught that if something looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean that it isn't, but I was getting ready to use an S word, not that S word, snake oil. Now, I don't believe Harness is snake oil. Please don't read into that. But when it's like, I've set up this much time providing other things to, saying, okay, here's all the pain, and then all of a sudden, bang, with a snap of a finger, it's like Thanos, right? everybody else goes away, and half the people are left, and it's like the snap. And that's just not if you as a consumer of that content are that gullible, I hope you don't have the buying power. The other joke that I usually say along with that, and that was a joke, by the way, so if I offended you, I'm sorry. Usually that's Victor's job, is to offend, not mine. But it's always the case of, okay, whoever took the buyer out to play the most rounds of golf usually wins the contract. Again, a little overblown, but it used to happen a lot. I'm assuming it still happens today. I don't play golf. That's why I'm not an SA.
Exactly.
Because I can't play golf. And to all my SA friends, I'm sorry. I'm really trashing you today too. Okay, so so your frustration was with vendors trashing other vendors.
Yes.
Right. So if
it's not the only frustration, but to me it's a sign of kind of like that. It's a clear sign that you're not above those, that because if you would be above those that you're trashing, then actually you wouldn't do that. Like Apple, for example, Apple never trashes I don't know, like HCL or Samsung, because they position themselves as being above those products, right? We are the rulers in this area, so we just look at you below us, and then we don't do nothing, right? Now, when you're below, like and you will notice that Samsung also is doing that less, because now they're very high on the list. But when they were kind of starting, they were looking at Apple and saying, this is horrible, you're doing this silly, you're doing that silly, oh, I don't know, you removed headphone jack, oh, how stupid that is, and so on and so forth, right? But that's because Samsung was looking at them like this, right? At Apple. And I'm not fond of Apple, but that was the situation. That's a position marketing-wise and all those things.
Yeah.
And that's what those comparisons also tell me. They're kind of, so if you actually got to rank to say, you guys, you're horrible, then yes, that's where you are. That's where those guys are, whomever they are.
Well, it's the other analogy to this, and it's a sports analogy, so forgive me if you fall asleep. But it's the armchair quarterback. You're setting up in the stands, you're sitting at home in your comfy couch while somebody's actually playing the game. And you're picking and prodding, but it's like, oh no, I don't know exactly what they're going through, but that's not my problem. They should be doing it this way.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, this is nothing new. This is nothing specific to our industry. However, it does get frustrating. It's like, can't we all just get along?
It's not even that get along, but because my first natural reaction was, okay, I'm going to actually do something similar and the opposite, and then kind of like show them how X is better than Y, while they showed that Y is so much better than X. And then I kind of like, then I got a cup of coffee, I calmed down, and kind of like, no, I'm not going to do that. Kind of.
Then you're going down to that level again, not speaking specifically to the scenario. It's like, but then you're coming down to whatever that level is, and sort of that pick a fight. Like when I was a kid, I was short and round. I would always get picked on. I was that kid. Really bad haircut, really bad suits. It was the 60s and 70s. But then eventually I was like, I started growing, or the people that used to pick on me finally it's like, you know what? He's not fighting back. That's no fun. So they move on to somebody else. Sometimes just trying to be invisible, but yet still getting the job done solved my problem.
Yeah, I heard that Bill Gates was being picked a lot in school.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
All of us were at that point, I guess, but it's so all right. So let's pick on Bill Gates for a second, or we'll pick on Microsoft. So I'm company. Let's go back in history. This is like a real thing. The IBM and Microsoft debacle. I can't remember the whole story, but Bill came up with what was then MS DOS, and then all of a sudden IBM. Of course, there's been the whole lawsuits and all that other stuff, but all that happened. But then this thing in Xerox PARC came out called a mouse, even though it wasn't called a mouse back then. Now you can say good or bad whether or not that revolutionized, but there were probably a lot of people like, why would you need that? That's a toy. How many people use a mouse or a trackpad today because of what happened at PARC years ago?
Yeah.
It's so when people fight about things, don't get pulled into a fight. I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Actually, I don't mind the fight. So kind of like, basically what I do mind is me hitting you right now and you being tied and you cannot hit back. So that's kind of unilateral, right?
It's mafia tactics. It's not a fair fight.
Yeah, I don't even mind. I wouldn't look forward to it, and I probably wouldn't accept it. But I don't mind if I don't know, like you call me and you work with, I don't know, Spinnaker, and I work with something else, and then we kind of like I don't know, compete in a way, right?
Right.
Again, that's quite different than saying, okay, Spinnaker is horrible, Spinnaker is terrible, Spinnaker is bad, and I just muted this guy. He's not really responding. I'm just gonna. That's not a fight.
Right. Yeah, if you can have, I'm not going to call it a fair fight because there's no way a fight can be fair. There's always advantages. But if at least you know that, hey, at 4:00, meet me out on the play yard. Right? And that's 3 hours away. Okay, that means I've got 3 hours to come up with a plan.
Yeah.
Right? That plan may be to run and not show up. The plan may be to show up and get the snot beat out of me. Or the plan is, I'm tired of this. This was the last time. And now we fight.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You just have to figure out the strategy. But when you're, it's like, oh, drive by, bang, you're horrible. See you, bye. What?
Yeah.
It's petty, I think, is the word. But that might be. And again, I didn't go through the situation you did. I'm trying to be as third party on this as I can be. But it's that kind of stuff. It's somebody picking on somebody else, and that never is a good thing.
Exactly.
So,
but it's not really a problem. It's just
no, it's annoying.
I'm venting my I'm venting myself in a show instead of in other places.
That's okay.
Whether that's a good thing or not, that's a different issue, I guess.
I guess we'll see. All right, so let's wrap this into the pull request I put in yesterday.
Yes.
This is a variation of that theme. Now, Victor's been working on the chaos course for a while.
Yes.
And during this while, Istio was 1.4. Well, in the time that he has been working on other things, Istio 1.5 came out. In 1.4, they had marked a bunch of stuff to be deprecated. In 1.5, it was removed.
Indeed.
And it broke a crap ton of stuff in the course.
Not only in the course, everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. If you're using Istio and you were doing it, there could have been a lot of really bad things. Now, the question, and this is the question I posed to Victor, was, well, can we just pin the course to 1.4 and just get it done? And his response was,
no. But actually,
it's the right response.
Wait. Before that, I actually came to you and said something like, "Oh man, let's just drop this. Let's pause for a month." Kind of like, I cannot do this anymore and things like that. You pulled me back. Okay, let's fix the problem instead.
It's always. I mean, normally I'm the one that has to be pulled in off the ledge. Normally, I'm the one that's going from cynic to pessimist really fast. And to play the different role this time was like, oh, okay, well, maybe there is some hope for me yet. But the pull request wasn't a big deal, and looked at it and got it in, and waiting for somebody to approve it, please. Hopefully, it's approved by the time you're watching this on the 22nd of April. But it just goes to show. Now let's come back to what we were talking about. Vendor X has this 1 hour, oh, see how bad this is, see how bad this is, and here's our magic. Go buy our magic. But what they don't know, because that video was cut last week, is that today we released version X of whatever it is that solves 99% of his whining.
Yeah.
Right. No, we're not saying that. We're not doing that today. Please, that's not an announcement. But that's what I'm saying. You play that out. All of a sudden, he didn't know what the backlog was and what was being worked on to make it a better product. Now, here's the problem with what's happened. People are still going to find that gentleman's videos. They're still going to listen to them, even though they are completely and utterly out of date right now. And they're still going to believe it. This is also the case of, hey, well, I found a blog post from 2015. It must be true because it's on the internet. Right? Exactly. It's that same problem. So if you as a consumer are taking in content and taking it to be gospel, to be infallible, you better have half a brain cell to validate it. Because at that point in time, the answer may have been true. Today, it may not have been true. It may have been resolved. So this is a mindset issue. This is don't just believe everything you read on the internet. Don't believe everything you listen to in podcasts as you're listening to this podcast. But I am saying that you should think. You got a brain, use it. Wow, where did that come from?
What's happening to you, man?
I don't know. Well, okay, so what's different, and if you're watching the video, we've done a couple videos before, I've actually set up a quote-unquote studio. So I'm standing right now, so my energy level's a lot higher. Plus, I didn't sleep last night, so I'm a little frustrated, or a little agitated, I guess is the better. Because our call time this morning was 6:45, my time, and it was like, oh. And I haven't, during this whole coronavirus thing, I've been sleeping in until about 6, but to have to get up at 6 was like, oh. But anyway, that doesn't matter. But I mean, that's what we're talking about, right? You have to think and adapt to your circumstances. The harness gentleman may be completely true on all the points today or 2 weeks ago, but today it may not be true. So you as a consumer of that content have to validate the content given to you. If you have a complete and implicit trust in everything you hear, especially right now from the internet, rethink some priorities. Let's put it this way. I'll put it political for a second. I'm going to go political. I have lots of friends that are extremely conservative and extremely liberal. We've talked about this before. I lean more conservative. But I also have a half a brain cell. And I listen because I can guarantee you I can find more things in common with somebody I disagree with on big things than probably that we don't agree on. But that takes intentionality, and it takes thought, and it takes time. when you get sold a product, they're selling you a product. I'm not trying to sell you a product. I'm trying to sell you right now a mindset. I'm trying to sell you to listen to our podcast more and more so I can try to ramble like this more. No, not really. That's Victor's job again. He's the one to ramble, and I'm not. How do we switch today? I don't understand. Maybe it's because of your haircut today. Victor, in case you're listening, Victor got a haircut at the time we were recording this, so which is probably why because none of us are going to be getting haircuts for the next 8 weeks.
This is what happens when you have a 9-year-old cutting your hair, because there is nothing more interesting to do when you cannot go out of your home.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I'm gonna stop ranting right now. Oh wait, go back, turn back. I got to see the back again. Stop. She did a good job. I like it. Okay, so if you're listening to this on the podcast, you're going to have to go to YouTube, and I'll put the link in the show notes down to YouTube, and I'll try to get you right to the point of Victor's haircut. It's around, I don't know, between 27 and 28 minutes, just so when I'm editing, I can find it. You got to see this haircut. She did a great job. And now we've devolved into talking about haircuts. Haircuts are always true, right? Cat videos, dog videos, and haircut videos. I think the haircut videos are going to become interesting over the next few. Like everybody needs bangs, right? No, nobody needs bangs.
So, due to the lockdowns in most of the world and Corona, so we are either going to adopt long hair as being standard.
Yep.
Or more people will be like me soon.
That's probably it. Okay, so do you feel like you've vented enough? Because
yes.
I think, okay.
Yes.
So
I think I did.
Is there a solution to this?
I mean, there is. I mean, those things will always exist and will always exist. And I mean, from my perspective, and now I'm not talking anymore as a person, but as a person who works in for a software vendor, you just kind of ignore it. I will, of course, tell you that feature X is great, and then so on and so forth. But kind of, I will continue applying my policy that you can ask me anything, I will explain and give you always honest opinion about everything. Just never ask me about CI/CD tools.
Yep, because we're too biased, and it's just. And I think also we don't want to slam that because we have a lot of friends in all those other companies too.
Exactly.
Right, and it's just like it's. I think okay, so let's find the common item that all of us want. We want to eliminate all the humans from that part of the pipeline.
Exactly.
Right?
My problem are not competing products. My problem is that I want to get rid of humans.
I want to get rid of humans. And that's it.
And that would solve the problem, because if there are no humans to watch those videos, then the problem is solved.
Yeah. Okay. Well, since I'm on video and I don't have it all memorized, I got to look at the screen still. I have too many screens now. But yeah, it's a. All right, I'm actually going to add one more thing, then I'll do the close. Even when we have people tell us, you suck, you suck, you suck, don't believe the you suck, but listen and determine, is there any grain of truth in this, or are they just attacking? Because even if there is a grain of truth, that might be something to consider to resolve. Doesn't mean that you do, but it's like, oh, okay. Sort of like this. Your frustration with the gentleman was slam, 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 slam. Here's the magic buy.
Yeah,
instead of
the frustration was
a true bake-off.
The frustration was the very last few minutes. Here's the magic buy, because actually most of the video of the many videos he did is one of the product I happen to work with. And actually I used that. I went back to the team and say, look, there is a lot of actually valid points there. There are a lot of things that we should improve. And actually there are quite a few action items that we are having right now in the backlog based on that video. So I'm very grateful for it.
Yes.
I just didn't like the last 2 minutes. Kind of like, I already have everything set up and working, so it's magic. But it was good. It uncovered a few problems. A few of them were false. A few of them were valid. That's great.
Some of them.
It will be better next time. Make the gentleman I'm not going to name make it again in 3 months.
Right. Because that's what you have to do. You look at people that are, again, we're getting into the streaming thing a little bit more. It's like you go back and look at how to build a YouTube studio for 2016 versus at how to build a YouTube studio for 2020. It's going to be very different because the technology has changed for a lot of things.
Yeah.
So just, but you reinforced my point. He did. There was a grain of truth that made you think. It's like, and you said, okay, this one's valid. Where's my hand? This one's valid. This one's not valid. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And it makes everybody better. And guess what? The boats keep rising. Everybody ends up getting better. And we can eliminate the humans faster. All right. So if you're listening via Apple Podcast, you really missed a great video show on YouTube, which the link will be below. But if you're listening on Apple Podcast, please go ahead, subscribe, leave a rating and review. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and leave some comments, give us some thumbs up. Please always give us thumbs up. Don't ever give us thumbs down because thumbs down makes us sad. Thumbs up, good, as I'm going in and out of focus. But all of our information, including Twitter and LinkedIn, can be found at devopsparadox.com/contact. And finally, if you'd like to be, well, there's more than that, but anyway, the links to this Slack workspace. If you want to see more conversations like this or be told when you are going to see a real live stream, go to the Slack workspace, join the general and podcast channels, and we'll post anytime we're doing a live stream. Now, our pattern at the moment has been roughly, our pattern meaning 1, so therefore it's a pattern. But we have one coming up, at least by the time you're hearing this, it's already happened, on Fridays around 2 p.m. Eastern. Now, that's Eastern based on Eastern Daylight Time, which is now the real time, not the summertime or whatever it is. You've changed. In fact, you changed last week from the time we're recording this. We're recording this on April 2nd. But, hey, we're still locked in the house, so what does it matter?
Exactly.
You can get out. So that's what I'm going to do is because we're recording this early in the morning for me, so we finish up. I'm going to save everything and go for my walk. It almost feels like prison. I've never been in prison, thankfully. But it's like we get our hour a day to go outside and walk because we have stay-at-home orders now.
Yeah, but you're allowed to go to walk. We're not allowed. The only way I can go to walk is actually if I go to a supermarket. So so whenever I need to stretch, I end up with few cases of beer. So I'm not sure whether exercising is.
You're going to have great quads because that means you're carrying those boxes back like this, and it's like it's going to be. So that's what you have to do is you buy the two. What do you buy? 12 packs, 24 packs? I don't know. I don't buy drinks.
Whatever there is.
Yeah. So you put them on your shoulder, and then you can do walking lunges back, and you can get your exercise in that way. But it's still a very surreal time. So if you're going, in fact, I saw today that there was a gentleman, I don't remember his name, but he was the Java Posse podcast person. I don't remember, passed away from COVID. And if you're going through this, I have not been directly affected by it. My sister lives in Manhattan, and they're way beyond lockdown right now. So it's in New York, and it's just, I can't fathom. I live out in the country, so it's not a big deal. But we still have people, it's like, oh, well, I'll just go down to my friend's house and hang out. No, don't do that. Unless you've been isolated for 14 days and you haven't gone anywhere, and nobody that came into your house has been anywhere, right? It's just, all it takes is one. I have to keep telling my mom this. It's like, oh yeah, I'll just run out to the store. I went, Mom, no. Don't do it. And I can't even leave either because my wife is immunocompromised, so I can't be exposed to anything potentially to bring it home. So I'm really locked in. Thankfully, I love my wife a lot. 30 years, that counts for something, huh? All right. You have anything else? Boy, I went off today. What's up with me?
Yeah, it's usually Me speaking much more than you. You're I don't know, going wild. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Hopefully, next week's episode will be sort of the plan that we had for this week's episode. But if
Yes.
not, we'll keep going. But that's what we're hoping.
Yeah.
All right, is that good enough? Are we done?
We're done, baby.
By the way, this was the 52nd episode. That doesn't mean anything. I think our first episode dropped in May, but we skipped 1 week, and I don't even know when we really started. I have to look it up, but we've got over 50 episodes right now. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Here's to another 52.
It's very good.
At least another 52. Don't you bail on me.
How
you can't
the
promise
direction the direction you're going, you're speaking more and more, so you will kick me out soon. So
No. All right. If you've got any comments about this episode, go join up in the Slack workspace, go to the podcast channel, and tell us if we're right or if we're wrong. Because vendors can be a pain in the butt. We understand that.
no,
Right.
I know we're right.
We're always right. We're always right. Until we're not. Is that true?
No, that happens, but then I deny that I said it.
Deny you say, okay. All right. Hopefully you can see we're poking fun even at ourselves. We don't even take ourselves too seriously. We like our job. By the way, anybody that's watching and listening, we do like our job. You know, it's sometimes it's the vendor game gets a little, how should we say?
Brutal.
No, brutal. Yeah.
Oh wait! I know. Can you ask me that again?
Sometimes the vendor game gets a little.
Sometimes the vendor game gets a little. Oh fuck! Oh, I said it.
There you said it. That's
Nothing.
fine.
Ignore.
I can beat it. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yes.
Sometimes. Oh.
I found the beeper.
Sometimes the vendor game gets a little.
Now
you have a new toy.
I can censor myself. I can say, you're a idiot. You are a piece of. I can get back to being myself.
Yeah, but what you were saying there is you're a wonderful idiot. You're a piece of lovely human being. Okay.
If that makes you feel better, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yes.
And with that, let's go ahead and wrap it up, because if you're still listening, I am so sorry. But we're still experimenting too. Thanks for listening to episode number 52 of DevOps Paradox.